morning, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Try Bonsai. It's your boy Banner, and today, what we doing today? This, my friends, is my BIG Ficus Retusa that I got from Evelyn. And I don't know if you remember, but when I got it, my friend Errol came over and we repotted it. We took it out of the big pot that it was in, did some root work, did some heavy pruning to some major branches, and brought it back down to this. Now, as you can see, and I'm going to bring you in for a closer look at it. As you can see, it has grown quite a lot, and we have some extending bits of growth that is developing into very thick branches that we don't really want, and we have a lot of aerial roots on the inside, which is not bad. That's not bad at all. But what I want to do is I'm going to defoliate the entire tree and look at the branch structure and prune accordingly. Now, I would have wanted to repot and do some root work as well, but I want to change this pot, and I don't have a pot for this as yet. I'm going to get a pot soon, but I don't have a pot for this as yet. So I'm going to skip the root work for today, but it's not going to be a delayed skip, as in I am attacking the roots next year. No. I'm going to get a pot as quickly as I can and start to work on the root system, creating that fine feeder root system, and addressing what is notorious with ficus is those big bulbous roots, because I'm sure it probably has a couple of those inside there now. Yeah, so for today, my friends, as I said, I'm going to defoliate and look at the branch structure, and yeah, that will be the action for today. Alright, so let me just go. Now, I'm not going to take you through the entire defoliation process because this is going to take a bit, right? And I almost forget, I promised to show you all an in-depth look at the tree. So let me show you that. So this is the base of it, and it has a nice trunk going up, and it fills out quite nicely as I step back to give you an overall look. Right, it fills out quite nicely, and as I said, it has a lot of aerial roots coming out from different points, all at the back of the pot and that kind of thing, all in front here. And this is the front of the planting. So let me give you a 360 look at it as I go around. This is the side, and it gives you that 360 look. It's a big plant, so I have to keep stepping back and stepping forward in order to give you the full scope of it. And this is the back of it. As you can see, we have some aerial roots happening here that are thickening up. This is the back of it. We have a lot of things that kind of growing out of place that I want to address today. And we're coming back around to the front. As you can see, this is a very big branch developing here, and this is something that I want to address. So let's get it. It has a nice shape, my friends. It has a really very nice shape happening, and it's just a matter of keeping that shape and developing this for future displays. Because ideally, I would like to be displaying my trees in a nice way, in a big way. Well, I'm going to say a big way, but you know what I'm getting at. I would really appreciate doing the work so that I'm able to show off my years of work and whatnot, and the time that I spend it. So, enough chit chat. Let me get into defoliating this tree. So, as I said, my friends, I'm not going to keep you all around for the defoliation of this entire tree. This is going to be a process. So let me get to that, and when we come back, you may see little bits in between, because I like to add music to my stuff. You may see little bits in between, but let me get to defoliating, and when we come back, we're going to look at a bare tree and see what branches we're removing and what we're keeping. Yeah, there we go. So we are more than halfway through, as you can see, and we have some stuff to remove and some stuff to prune back so far, based on what I'm seeing, but nothing too extravagant, no life-threatening items. So I'm going to continue. And I have to put back this little phone. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And when we come back, we're going to look at quickly removing and pruning back of these branches and put this plant in a nice spot. This tree. Noise again. Put this tree in a nice spot to recover. I'll show you something when we come back, because I'm looking at it comes up and there's a slight bit of taper happening here, a slight bulge happening at this juncture here. Now we would have removed, between myself and Errol, we removed quite a lot, so hopefully over time with the root work and creating that nabari, it will essentially even off this bulge that I see in here, but time will tell. So I'm gonna get back to it. Yeah, see you all in a short. Okay, my friends, so this is the tree with its nice silhouette that I've completed the defoliation on it, and it ain't looking so bad. Now, that said, there is something a little bit on the side of things. As you can see, the trunk line comes up. There is this branch that comes up here to form the apex. Right, there's a bit of wire that my friend Errol would have put on it to give a bit of movement, right, lowering, creating a pad here. But from this spot, what is creating this situation is that on this spot here, there's this apex coming up here, but there's also this side branch coming off here. And let me turn it around so that you can see. Now we removed a third branch that was here, right? Because there were several branches coming out of the same spot. And this branch and this one is basically at the same level. This is slightly below, however, it could be deemed as being at the same or almost the same level as well. So, what do you do when the material is a little bit on the side? You got to find a way to work with it, right? Now, what is also happening is that you could see it flares out here. It flares out to the front, but there's no flare or no prominent flare like this side here. So we have some stuff to do, and as I said, as I always say, Rome was not built in a day. As you can see to the back here, and let me show you here, it caves in here and there is no flare coming out on this side. Now I can, because it's a ficus, I could create something of a fusion and fuse another tree here to develop roots to flare out on this side, right? And I mean, I'm just talking off the top of my head here. If I were to remove this, then you would have a completely emptied side here, completely empty, right? Which would then beg the question, how are we going to recreate that balance? This branch in the back here serves as the back branch to give it that depth that it needs. This is a good branch here, but as I said, it created something of a bulge here. So something was removed from here, a branch was removed from here, and as I showed you, a branch was removed from the back of it. As I bring the camera just a bit closer to both myself and you. So something was removed here, something was removed here, right? And something was removed to the back here to kind of reduce the amount of vigor that was happening. We removed several things here, here, here. I want to believe that over time it would start shaping up. But what that would entail is a lot of work, a lot of pruning back, a lot of attention to the tree and the structure. What I'm happy for is that the initial repotting and branch removal was a success. It has taken quite well, right? We have a lot of aerial roots coming down, and it's more or less a very healthy tree, which is good. That's a start. Start having a healthy tree. If you don't have a healthy tree, you don't have a start, right? So we have a healthy tree, and we can work on creating, not creating, but fixing this little bulge here. Now there's some carving that we could carve here to kind of decrease that, but that's a special tool that I need to get to do this carving here if I wanted to go down that particular route. These branches that we would have removed, I'd have to do some cutting so that they could countersink properly. So with that said, my friends, let's get to removing some branches. So let me pull the camera back just a bit and let's get that going. And first things first, I'm removing this branch because this has gone extremely long and out of the scope of things. So I'm going to take this back all the way back to its origin point, removing some aerial roots along with it. And this, my friends, could be planted as a brand new tree. Maybe I could plant this, and considering that it's from the same exact tree, plant this, and as this develops roots, I could probably use the roots to fuse into this spot here and create more of a flare on this end here. See what I'm showing you here? So that's an idea. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this one side, not throwing away the material, right? And what I'm going to do is to go around the tree, removing stuff. So like this, that comes from inside of a curve. I'm going to remove him And all of these little itty bitty fellows, I'm going to remove them as well. So we're going to go around the tree and remove all the obvious things, and then we're going to come back and take a more in-depth look at what we want to do. Yeah? Let we just go. Bring you a bit closer. This is where I reached so far, and I have a few dilemmas that I've been contemplating whilst I was doing the pruning. Right, and the dilemmas are as follows. This trunk line here, this apex line here, is very, very straight. I'm contemplating taking this off completely. But if I take this off completely, I'll have 1, 2 going to the back and this to the side here. How would that look? Let me get a bag and see how that looks. So give me a sec. Okay, so it's not exactly a bag. However, let me see how that looks. So all these branches are fanning out nicely now with the cuts that I would have made, and without the top. And I'm trying to maneuver this thing and move my hand so you could see, and so that I could see, because I'm looking at it from your angle as well. Without the top, it's not so bad, you know. You just don't have an apex. Right? You don't have an apex. And you have a series of branches going out on the side with no apex. With it, I don't like this. I don't like this. This is an entirely new tree on itself here. This is the dilemma. This in and of itself is an entirely new tree with nice shape and whatnot. So let me let this leaf out, my friends. Let me let this leaf out. And what I may do is do an area here and take this as a brand new tree and restart an apex here. That's what I may do. But as of right now, I don't like this at all. At all. Now that it has been defoliated, no angle. No angle is looking good for this. As a matter of fact, this and all, it looks as though it's leaning over. It came from this side and went over on that side. Let me see if I could clean up this cut to countersink it just a tad. So it wouldn't look as such a bulge. So let me do this quickly and come back. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for now. My friends. I defoliated the tree. Just a little recap on what I did. I defoliated the tree and I pruned back some of the branches, all of the branches basically, to compact the growth a bit. I removed bulge from this point here in the front and in the back here. So I did some a little bit of carving with a trusty tool, a small branch splitter, so that I could get in, so as you could see, to kind of smoothen this transition just a bit, to not make it look as though the branch coming from this side and going over onto the other side. And I could carve it a little bit more, but I have to get a die grinder to get into this space a little bit more. Now, as I would have mentioned, I am not entirely comfortable with this at all. If I remove it, then I have no apex for the tree. None. And I have to redo an apex. Now, whilst I was off camera carving, I was thinking about it, and not to carry on too much longer, but I was thinking, considering that the ficus species is good at fusing, I could probably make some slits here, bring it down a bit, and make some slits in the back here and bring it back. So what it will do, it would straighten up this and add a little movement to this branch and compact it a little bit more, so that it doesn't look, apart from being straight, it's very far away from the tree. So maybe that is the next step. Making some slits and compacting this apex down, bringing it down here, quite here, and making it shorter, and over time reducing this branch structure to come in closer to this trunk. So this is as far as I'm going to go today. The next step, which will be very soon, because I don't want for it to have to go and do over the entire process to do this. So in a very short amount of time, what I will do is do my first attempt at slicing this branch, this apex, and compressing it to create a nicer, shorter apex that falls nice and neat over the top of the tree, rather than on the side, crazy. Yeah, so that is it for today. Again, my friends, thank you so very much for joining me here on Try Bonsai. If you like the work that I'm doing, share. Help me to build this channel. I am at 500 and something subscribers. I would love to get to that 1,000-mile marker. Yeah, so share it away. Help me to get what I'm doing out there and stuff, As usual, like, subscribe, comment. I love the comments. Give me your take on my ideas where it relates to this tree, and what I think I should do in the future, or the ideas that I have going forward with it. And yeah, I'm here for it. As I usually say, be good to yourself, be good to others. Treat people how you want to be treated. And remember that our climate is our responsibility. We have an opportunity to change it for the better. If not for ourselves, we do it, and we should do it for the future generations. So, I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.